Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. I am your host and co-host of this conversation. I am Damian Kinsey, co-creator, co-founder of the 2350 Network and the 2350 Effect. Introduce yourself, Mark, other
Hi.
co-host.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanya Farron. I am also the co-host, co-creator of the 2350 Effect and the 2350 Network, as well as Creative Living Ideas. So happy to be here tonight to have this great conversation again on a Sunday evening to either kick off your week, starting it for next week, or to wrap up your week and get yourself settled in for the night. We're happy to have you here with us.
And we have two amazing guests here. I have to admit, I wanted to have this conversation for a while because it actually is a unique conversation. How often do we have three individuals who are related to each other, who kind of work with each other together, do a lot of stuff behind the scenes together, collaborate, and be able to get them in the same room and have a conversation around what does it look like when branding yourself outside of the family business? So I'd love to have this conversation. And before we bring them up, I want to talk about something real quick. The Work Life Balance Summit is October 4th and 5th. Reach out. This is the last day to get your tickets at the discounted price of $75. So get out there, scan the QR code, go inside the chat. The link is in there, and this is the last day to get out the early bird special. Tomorrow will go up. I believe it's $100 per day, $175 for the summit tickets. It is 27 different presenters, and stay tuned. We'll have more information about that and talk about the presenters for the Work-Life Balance Summit and get your tickets at that discounted rate. And without further ado, we have two amazing guests. Bring our guests up. All right. Welcome to the 2350 Effect. Both individuals was here when we were doing getting ready, but now that it's the 2350 Effect, we have Annika and Lexi. Dr. Farron, you want to introduce both of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. So I always introduce my children as my two beautiful daughters because they're beautiful inside and out. They have a wonderful heart and highly intelligent women that I love surrounding myself with. So I want to introduce you to both of my daughters, Lexi and Annika. And, you know, they are part of Creative Living Ideas and have been helping us with actually family business for quite a while, as Annika and I were having discussions beforehand. So yeah, it's great to have them on the show. They are huge people behind the scenes of Creative Living Ideas and of these events that we host, and you know, couldn't really do the work at all without their support and their knowledge and their passion to watch it succeed and come to fruition. And that's really exciting for me. So welcome, you two. I'm happy to have you.
Thanks for having us. We're really happy to be here because we get to do all the behind the scenes stuff and we never get to be on scene. So we're happy to be here.
Exactly.
I love that. And I'm going to put the link for the summit inside the chat. I wanted to have this conversation because everybody here has a day job. So Lexi and Annika, you have day jobs besides working with Creative Living Ideas, right? Correct? All right. Please tell us a little bit about your day job and what you do besides your other job with Creative Living Ideas and doing all the work, putting something together, supporting, and everything else. Let's start with you, Lexi.
Oh, okay. I'll go first. I work for a company called Thrive. We are a software solution for local businesses. So really not unlike what I do with CLI. And we work with service companies like contractors, massage therapists, salons, to kind of help them automate, optimize, help with their online presence. So I have a lot of different clients that do a lot of different things. So it's not shocking that I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none in a lot of different ways. I like to talk to people and do a lot of different things. So that's what I do in my day job.
Well, I'm going to add to that too, so helping entrepreneurial companies, so people that are starting small businesses. So she's had a taste of it with being part of Creative Living Ideas. So that sort of helps roll in and kind of get a greater understanding of what the need is for these small businesses in this area. You also do something else. What's your other job other than CLI?
Yeah, I'm also a softball coach. Which is all year round. So that takes up a lot of time as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And we're definitely going to get into that soon.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm sure we will. That always comes out.
No worries. Hanika, how about you?
I am the branch manager at Commerce Bank. So what I do, I work a lot with customers, and I lead a group of bankers in helping those customers find solutions and help them work on their finances. And so that is also kind of what I do at CLI, where I kind of do the accounting part. I am kind of the back end for CLI, but also for CLI, I drive the chat a lot on the LinkedIn events. So that's what I do for both of my jobs.
You have another job. You don't get paid for it, but it takes a lot of your time. You go to school full time.
I do. Yes, I do go to school full time.
Goes to school full time and also helps out with CLI quite a bit. So
nice. And let's get into my favorite segment to start off. All right, if you've been joining us, we always start off with laugh, call, text. We kind of did it a little bit different this time. What is that thing this week that made you either laugh, call, or text someone? Hanika, you want to start?
Yeah, I do. So my roommate and I have been watching Emily in Paris. And the season premiere was on Thursday. And so I came home and she surprised me with like a whole bunch of Emily in Paris stuff, socks, food, shirts, berets. And we put one of the berets on her dog. And so it was so funny to me, and I had to send it out to everyone.
I love that. That's so funny. That was funny. That was really funny. I'm going to read this to you. I don't know, Annika, if you can see this comment or not on your feed, but Carrie, thank you so much. Carrie brightens a lot of people's inboxes on LinkedIn with great jokes, but he said you can find Annika supervising out on a limb since she is a branch. Good one. I like it. All right, Lexi, what was your laugh, call, or text?
So my husband and I love to watch the movie The Pink Panther, and I'm a big Steve Martin fan. I think he's really hilarious. And the other day I was having like a really stressful day. Speaking of softball, we started our season this week, and so I was very overwhelmed with my day. And I guess he found one of the best clips, which if you've seen them in this movie, like you'll understand, but he texted me this clip from a TikTok where it's like, he's trying to learn how to say hamburger and he's like, damn burger. And it's over. That made me laugh so hard when she's like, no, hamburger. And he's like, hamburger, over and over. It's the best Steve Martin thing ever. So that made me laugh so hard this week.
I love that. That's awesome. Damien, what was your laugh, call, or text?
Well, my calls have been a lot of it's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the summit, and I did get this book in the mail, my copy Turn It to the Storm. And on the back, I am on the back of it with my critique of this book. So that is my laugh call text for the week. And this is a really great book. If you have been watching the show, Mauricia Ambrose, she came on the show and she had her book Turn It to the Storm. It's about her life and her kid and her battle with an illness and sending these letters to her kid. And I had the pleasure of reading the book and giving my feedback on the book on how great it was. And she sent it to me, and I'm on the back of it. So that is my laugh call text.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Yes,
Very cool.
that's the first time I've ever been on the back of someone's book. So,
Well, I'm going to say my laugh caller text is, and I'm letting a secret out here, but the three of us have our own little group chat.
you
You
hit
all have-
Lotto?
What?
Your
What'd you
laugh
say?
call text, you hit Lotto? You letting the secret out?
No,
No,
I
we
didn't hit
hit
the
the
lottery.
lotto.
No. We have a little group called No Boys Allowed, which just means that it's me, Lexi, and Ani on the group chat. And so there's lots of hilarious things that usually go through that group chat. The pictures that Annika sent of the dogs with the socks, that's in. I had Lexi's dog sleeping, a funny TikTok of somebody acting like a baby. You know, whatever it is that we want to put in just to give ourselves throughout the day a laugh call, right? Something to brighten our days, and my last thing that I sent them, of course, was something about, like affirmations and things like that. So I'm always, throwing the mom piece in there a little bit, something positive here to think about today. So yeah.
Yes, she is.
Nice, I like that. And I'm welcome some people to the show. Thank you for coming as always and showing up. Carrie, thank you for being here. Leslie Flowers, 2350 member, thank you for being here. Jackie, as always, thank you for being here. Paul, thank you for showing up. We appreciate the love and the support and showing up. Thanks a lot. That's Carrie again. Felipe, Work-Life Balance Summit presenter.
First time
Mandy,
presenter. Yes. For
yes,
us.
Mandy, welcome. Ashford, welcome. And we have Leslie Flowers again, and we have some other people who are LinkedIn user. Please show your name. And if we missed you, make sure you put yourself in the chat, comment, ask questions, and go in. And let's just dive into it like off the diving board. So you both have interesting careers. You both work part-time with CLI. When you were growing up, what did you want to be when you was growing up? Because I know your mom works in education. So I know you have No Boys Allowed. So what did you want to be when you grow up? So I asked Lexi last time, so I'm going to ask Annika this time.
Okay. When I was growing up, I actually wanted to be in education as well, which is not what I do now. I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, and I wanted that probably from kindergarten to like my senior year of high school. And I did an internship where I pretty much was like student teaching for a kindergarten gym class. And I realized that was not for me. I did it 2 hours a day. And I was like, there's no way I can do this for 7 hours a day. It's just not for me. And then I just kind of happened upon banking, and it ended up being the right fit.
Okay, nice. So it only took you 120 minutes, and it was just all over for you. Okay.
It was crazy. That's all she ever wanted to be, was a kindergarten teacher. I mean, Lexi, right? For years. Do you ever remember her?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
She
And then
loved being with
did it and
kids.
was
Yeah.
like, no.
And that's why I kind of asked that question, and I'm going to expand on it once Lexi speak exactly why I asked that question. What was yours?
Mine is a little bit of a longer path. I'll be honest, when I was younger and all my friends were like, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a vet, I want to be a doctor, I was like, you guys want to be stuff? Like, I don't want to be anything. I just want to be outside. Like, I don't want to do anything else. And that kind of carried with me through high school, and I didn't want to do anything. When I got to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play softball and be with my friends. And I really liked watching sports and I really liked being around sports. So I decided to major in sports management because I didn't really know what else to do because like I said, I didn't want to be anything. Like I didn't have a calling. Nothing really stood out to me. And so I majored in sports management and I started working in like sports marketing and stuff and I really liked it. I really loved my classes in college and like I said, I loved to be outside. I loved to meet people. I loved being around like other active things. And so that really stuck with me. So that's what I ended up doing after college and until COVID. And that's kind of where my career path shifted because I got married and then sports were shut down during COVID. So I had to kind of pivot a little bit. But I stayed coaching. And so that's where my like real passion is. I love sales because I can keep active. I'm never really sitting at my desk. I'm always out in the field. I'm calling people. I'm talking to people. I'm meeting new faces. That's what I love about the service industry too, or like, construction workers and meeting new contractors, salon owners. Like they kind of have the same blood as me. Like they don't really want to sit and do nothing. They don't want to be at a desk. They don't want to be in a cube. Like that would make me insane. So to make a long answer long, there's no calling. I just like to be a crazy person.
Okay, so you have no calling. We're gonna get into that myth because I think that's not really true, but we're gonna get into it. For you, Dr. Fern, like what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my gosh. So many things and nothing of what I am. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a hairstylist. I wanted to be a flight attendant. Like all of those jobs just sounded so fun to me. I also wanted to be a teacher. I liked to play teacher a lot. When I was, we didn't have dry erase boards. I took like paper and put it on my closet door and I used to write on that and think that, and then I'd take all that down and I had to make up the new chalkboard and, but all of those things were what I wanted to do. And then I honestly did not take a traditional path to getting a degree. And I don't know that a lot of people know this. And I use my story a lot for parents of kids who are undecided about what they want to do with their career, because I went to college for 1 year and I hated it and I quit and I came home and I got a job. I worked for a chiropractor. I got married to my husband. We just did life. And then all of a sudden I said, I think I'm going to go back to school to be a teacher. And I didn't get my degree until I was 26. So, I didn't. And then I went to school for a very long time to get my master's while I was raising a family. And, my kids probably remember me. They went to my graduations and they remember me doing homework on Sundays. So
and we loved it when Mom went to class on Thursday nights because that meant that we could have dinner with Dad, which was like he didn't really cook, so we would have like potato chips and ice cream for dinner.
True.
And it was like the best night ever. Yeah, when Mom went to class on Thursdays. Oh yeah.
And it would be, and honestly, I was heartbroken. I felt like I was being this horrible mother by not being home with my kids. And one night my class was canceled and I came home and, can you see in the movie, right, where the soundtrack goes, brrr, that's what happened when I walked in the door. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not needed here on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Work-life
She
balance.
walked in and we were like,
lesson number one. They're like,
what are you doing here? She was like, oh, class was canceled. And we were like, find a reason to be gone, lady. It's potato chips and ice cream night.
Oh wow. You probably almost put the top lock on in the boat, like you can't get in.
Yeah.
You were outside like Home Alone. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that question is because sometimes we kind of follow our parental paths. Sometimes our parents want things for us that we kind of want on ourselves, and sometimes we just like follow through the path of our parents and just want to just do it just because it's something familiar to do. And it's interesting that both of y'all, well, all of y'all chose your own path and still kind of find ways to work with each other and collaborate. I know Lexi, you kind of do the softball thing, right? Congratulations on, how many people could say they're like you state champ, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so you're a state champ softball coach. Um, you work with your sister with CLI. You work with your mom, and you coach sports with your dad too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're doing the work life balance summit that your mom created. So how does work life balance actually work for you? And I know before you ask that question, Annika, you work in CLI. You're a branch manager at a bank. You're a full time student, and you take care of your dog. Your dog mom. And how do you balance work life balance with all this stuff going on as well? So I started with Annika last time. Let's start with Lexi. This one's for you.
Yeah, well, I also want to touch on kind of what you said about like following in the path of like our parents. Like I really never felt any sort of pressure to do anything that my parents had done. Like our house was very open in terms of communication. Like we never talked about do this and do that because I said so. Like it was more of like how are you feeling? And Ani and I are pretty similar in goals and drive, but we're very different in personality. And I feel like we both had paths that were very respected by our parents. And even if we made a mistake, they would just look at us and be like, yeah, that was stupid, but how are you going to get yourself out of it? Like, do it or you got to figure it out. Like we were respected as adults from a very young age. And so I think that kind of helped us figure out like we didn't really have to have it immediately. And so that was really nice. And so I think that also kind of helped us with our like work life balance. Like it's kind of I I think Ani and I both kind of pile on to our own plates sometimes a little bit too much because and I'm sort of speaking for Ani too, so like jump in if I am, but we kind of pile we kind of pile on a little bit too much because we are so multi-passionate because we're not so like pigeonholed into doing what our parents want for us because we like so many different things and like I have to work a real job, which I do love. I love working in sales, but I have to work a real job because that's what pays the bills, but I also like feel like I also have to work softball because that's what makes me happy and they're both essentially full time. So, um sometimes it's really hard, but because I do it with my family, there's a lot of give and take of like, I understand that you're overwhelmed and I respect the work that you do. So I'm going to give you grace if you're losing your mind. Like my parents have, or my whole family, even my grandparents, my friends, like everybody has never acted like softball is a hobby. Like they know that softball is real life for me. And so if I say I have softball, they never ask me to skip. Like I've missed holidays since I was 10. So they don't act like it's fake.
And that's great that you have that because softball isn't fake. You're actually whether you know it or not, you're doing a form of teaching. You're
Oh
teaching these
yeah.
young ladies how to be adults, responsibility, teamwork, how to deal with hard times, criticism, failure. So there's so many components that actually go with it. And the signs in softballs are kind of in softball is unique, so they have to actually pay attention to what's going on. So it's a
Yeah.
lot being taught. So I appreciate you saying that they did treat it like a full time job and have respect for it and not treat it as just like a hobby or just that thing over there. So that's really beautiful that you have that family support. Annika, full time student, branch manager. Um, you work with CLI and you are your own person that has your own thing going on. How in the world do you manage your own work life balance? Like how?
Um, I think that it took some trial and error. I was already working full time at Commerce and part time for CLI when I decided to go back to school. And at first, I wanted to do it all on my own. And I made some mistakes along the way. like picking a really expensive school because it was the only one I thought to go to. And trying to take on the entire workload by myself and things like that. And I think after doing it for some time, I've learned that you really just need to lean on your support. You know, like my mom understands what it's like to work full time and go to school at the same time. So on nights that, you know, I had a really long or hard day at work and I have to come home and do homework and I just don't feel like it, but it's about to be due, you know, I can talk to her and she understands. And chances are my sister already took those classes and so she can help me study for it. And my roommate is really good about, you know, making sure that I don't have any distractions when I am trying to study. And they all know like what days are my study days. And like, you know, Lexi said, like they know that these are really real things for us. And they don't try to take that away. So when I have to leave something early because, you know, I want to go to bed early because I have to go to work the next day and then I have tests that night, they're understanding, or I have to leave early because I have homework to finish. You know, as important as that family time is, I also understand that I have these other things to do, but I'm also making time to be with my family. So I think it's really leaning on the support that you have, making a space for them as well, and then making a space for you to be able to do it all. I think that is really what allows you to be able to do it all.
I like that answer. Dr. Farron, you have a question, thoughts, want to comment?
Sorry, were you asking me? I kind of muted myself so that I could.
No, I was asking, do you have any thoughts, a comment, question for them? I know these are your children.
I really do. I mean, you know, I want to say that, you know, we have worked very hard as a family to have open conversations and to talk quite a bit together and to, you know, we are definitely not a perfect family. We have moments where people get up, one gets upset with the other. It happens. I mean, anytime you're close with anyone, that is going to happen, but we work through things together and we are free to express how we feel in happiness and love and sadness and frustration, and know that they're able to say whatever they want to say. And then we will work through it together. And, you know, it's something that we've always done as a family. And so being able to say to their parents, I can't do this. This is too much for me right now. And, you know, being able as a parent to say, what can I help you with? Do you just need time? Do you need me to take care of your dogs today? Do you need me to meet you somewhere? Like, what is it you're needing from me? What can I do to help you? Nothing. I just want you to listen to me. Or yes, I need you to come do this for me. And it's reciprocal. I'm just going to say in our whole family, it is, you know, even with my son-in-law and, you know, our whole family is very close and we are very good about helping each other out. I mean, how many times have you girls driven to a job site to drop something off for your dad in the middle of a day, right? He's, you know, that's just what we do. You know, we're here to help and support one another, and they're amazing kids. They're just awesome. So I don't know. They make being a parent pretty easy.
Yeah, but not without fault. I like not to just throw not to sandbag CLI, but like building CLI has not been a small feat.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, like there have been, because we are family, like there have been some trials and tribulations, and I think that you're sometimes the hardest on the people that you're closest to because you don't have the boundaries that you would if you were in a traditional company. And so when we were initially building CLI, there were some moments that like we had to take a couple days off because it was getting kind of hot. Mm-hmm. And then we came back and we were like, okay, we're good. we need to reset. Let's reevaluate this agenda and we'll be okay. And so I think because we had those experiences, like we've been able to stay as a company for the past 3 years or 4 years and be more successful and grow faster.
Exactly. And we have, and I'm sure there's more conversations or questions you want, Damien, but I'll just say this one thing. We have really had to learn how to set boundaries with one another and give each other time frames. We all do work other jobs also on top of CLI, and we all want the success of CLI. So we've had to set boundaries of time frames, how long is this project going to take us? How much time can we dedicate to the project? Where are we at in life right now? And it's really amazing. And it took us time to get to that, to learn how to communicate and set those boundaries up as a family. And Lexi and Ani are my kids in CLI, but we have 2 other ladies that also help support CLI that aren't here tonight. And so, they have other personal lives as well. So we've learned how to kind of function as a company with some of those boundaries. But we had some bumpy moments for sure.
Yeah, we certainly did. And it was, like I said, I think it's because we are such a close, because the 2 other people that work with us are 2 of my best friends that I've known since I was 8. So we respect them very much, and that's why we chose them to work with us at CLI. But again, sometimes you're the hardest on the people that you're closest to. You may trust them, and that's why you keep them in your inner circle. But also, you can sometimes abuse that boundary. And so I'll be the first one to say, sometimes I can just throw it right back in your face and be like, no, I said this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Ani, thanks for that one. But, but
I appreciate y'all saying that.
It's been really great. Since then, I just think that that's how we've grown.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And speaking of growing, I do want to get into some of the things that are being done in the collaboration of CLI and also the 2350 network. I love that your family dynamic is that Dr. Farron is your mom, y'all are sisters, and you're her daughters. But when I've encountered y'all, that it's functional adult relationships. It isn't like being talked to like a little kid or anything. It's valuing your opinion and support. I know y'all did a lot of work with the Virtual Wellness Summit, the first Work-Life Balance Summit, getting approval with the 2350 network. And I thank you for that too, and giving the feedback and getting that done. And you know what? And that eye and support is so important. Let's get into some of the things that we actually are doing. We do have the Healthful Living magazine collaboration with CLI magazine that is there. It's from the Virtual Wellness Summit. The presenters are inside here. You can go click on the website, on the CLI website, and get all this information, or you can go to the 2350 Network website and get the information. So it has the inserts and stories of every individual who participated in here. These are some of the things that are going on cool with CLI. So if you wanted to know what Annika and Lexi do, here's some of the things that they have done, inspired, motivated, critiqued, edited, put together. This is their hard work. So you want to support them in their hard work in CLI. Go scan the QR code and get some of those wellness journeys that are amazing. They're especially amazing in the workforce. And if you're doing therapy work, it's good to give some clients and some individuals, even in the school system. This is me. Let's move on from me. You know who I am. Jackie Hallberg, Lee Forrester, who's in the Work-Life Balance Summit, Portia, Deanna, who's in the Work-Life Balance Summit, Dr. Sheila, Camille, who's going to be presenting in the Work-Life Balance Summit, Brenda Lee's Work-Life Balance Summit. This is a great magazine, so much information. There's parenting classes. Jamie, who did an amazing job of putting this together in the collaboration. Dwight, who's going to be at the summit. Jamie and Dwight will be at the summit. Here's the summit, October 2nd and 3rd. So get your information, get ready for that particular summit. And then we're going to go into, Dr. Barry, you want to take this one?
Yes, the Work-Life Balance Summit is October 4th and 5th. It is a 2-day virtual event, so you can be in your pajamas all day if you want to for 2 days. Right now, until the end of the night tonight, you can still get the early bird rate of $75 for both days. After that, it goes up to $100 for 1 day, $175 for 2 days. We have, as Damien said at the beginning, we have 27 amazing presenters over 26 sessions. It is an incredible event. It's on Zoom events. We are going to create another publication for you with this round of presenters. So you will want to grab that if you're coming to the summit as well. So many amazing things that'll happen. We have topics on self-care, social media, managing your social media. We've got a couple conversations about managing your financial well-being. We've got, Felipe coming in from HR. Like, we've got lots of different areas. We've got licensed therapists coming. We have nurses coming, like amazing people that have a lot of skills to share with you so that you have strategies to take home and to apply right away in your life. I hope you join us. Get your tickets. I am excited about it too.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And each member of the summit is definitely going to give you actionable items talking about work, life, and balance that you can use as takeaway and things to actually support that work-life balance. And then last but not least, do you want to, let me go here and then you can bring up the website. The 2350 network is definitely live. Here is the network. We have our virtual campus space and lobby, the virtual courtyard, the auditorium, the network community room where members can go, meet, collaborate, the pool room. This is my virtual office. This is myself and Dr. Farron in the virtual office and space, and her office has been redesigned and renovated, so we have to upgrade that. And also, here's some of the perks as a member. And Dr. Farron, do you want to share the 2350 site, network site?
Hold on 1 second. Let me.
No worries. Tom said, amazing perspective. Kinga, who's a 2350 network member. Jackie loves the magazine. So excited about the summit. Jackie will be presenting at the summit. And just let me know when you're ready.
I'm sorry.
No worries at all. And here's actually the website too. It's simple. It's the 2350network.com website. And you can go from there for the 2350 network.
All right, I'm ready. Hang on a second. I said I'm ready, and then I say, hang on a second.
No worries.
I'm ready. Go ahead and let me
welcome.
present that. All right. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Appreciate you very much. So this is the 2350 Effect website. If you just go to 2350 Network website, and this is one of the behind the scenes Lexi went through. She went through and read it for us, uploaded it, linked it all our pages together, got us all rolling and up. So we're looking beautiful, and I appreciate that very much. But this is our mission and vision. You can see here, brand values. If you click right here, this is how you can join the 2350 network. So you can be a part of our network. We've got different events that we have. I'll show you those in just a second. This is a form that you'll fill out. Damien and I go through those forms every week, and then we let people know their acceptance into the network. There is a fee for it, but it's a small fee. And so wanted to make you aware of that. There's ways you can get in touch with us. And then let me show you our calendar. So our calendar, we have events for every quarter outlined and planned. We have a member meeting on the first Monday of the month. And then we have lunch and learns, leadership and lemonade. We also have planning up some other social events every quarter. So we're really just growing this and excited to bring this to you. So if you're looking for an organization to network with, please join us. Would you like me to show creative living ideas real quick? Or you want me to wait?
You can show it. That way they can get it from one spot.
All right. And also if you go to, sorry, I've got to find creative living ideas here. Here we go. If you go to creativelivingideas.com, you'll see this page here. You can sign up for my newsletter. Please sign up for that. You'll get information about all of our summits and events that we have. So you can sign up right there. And you can learn a little bit. This is my beautiful team here. You can learn about our books and products that we have. And then, of course, here's the Work-Life Balance Summit. So you can get information here about the summit. You can come in here and watch some amazing videos about our presenters, read their bios, learn about their topics that they have. So you're welcome to go through and do that. You can purchase your tickets throughout this site here. And then we've also got the look of the site. You can see the sessions and the presenters of the sessions also here and get your tickets. We also have our next one in March already started. So we'll finish that up. There's other learning opportunities for you, different courses on demand for you, and different employee wellness programs, things like that we have. And then, of course, our books that we have created at CLI and how you can access them and get your copies of the books that we've created. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. So, Dr. Farron, do you want to ask the next question or you want me to?
No, I want to ask it. Let me see here. I think that I would like to ask the girls a little bit about what advice, well, we kind of already talked about that one. And it can't be me. So don't say me because we're just on the show together. Okay. So what or who influenced you as a kid? Like a big influencer. We'll start with Damien while you guys have think time. Damien, who or what was your biggest influence as a kid?
Besides my parents and grandmother, and biggest influence as a kid and a child, I think it's observing people who made really bad decisions.
You've said that before. I've heard you say that before. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I would definitely explain them to you off the show because there's certain things I just don't do in life because I've seen individuals who, I'm just going to say it like this. As a kid, when you're young, you think everyone is old. You have no concept of age,
right,
time, or anything.
Right.
And I remember going to the store and being sent to the store by my grandmother and going to the store and seeing these older gentlemen who would just stand by the store every single day. And I said to myself, I did not want to be them. And I thought they were like 1,000,000 years old. They had to be like 7, 8 years older than me. So I had no concept of age. And that made me choose to make better decisions with certain things in life. And it makes me think when I'm talking to young people and kids and people younger than me, I understand the concept of that the perception of age is out there. So, I appreciate this conversation, talking to both of y'all, since y'all both are younger than me, and having this conversation and listening to your perspective and motivation. So that is my thing. And I'm sticking with that.
All right.
That
I love it.
Is my motivation. That inspired me.
I like that. I like that. Ani, you want to go?
You made this really hard for me because I was going to say you. Don't give me that look, Lexi. Remember, I wanted to be a teacher. Of course, my influence was going to be my mother. But I think my next biggest influence growing up, I'm not trying to suck up or anything, but I really think my next biggest influence was Lexi.
Oh, yeah.
My older sister, of course, it had to be. I watched her make mistakes. I watched her do things right. So I knew what path to follow. She kind of built a path for me.
Yeah, good and bad.
I just had to pick which one. to go down.
Yeah.
Kind of like Damien's choice there, right? Just kidding.
Exactly.
Oh, and I had a guidance counselor who was amazing, Mr. Pizer. Oh my goodness. I thank that man every day for me being where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thanks, An. Mine, obviously, I have two. So mine, now that I'm like reflecting and I'm older, my grandma, like my mom's mom, she was really influenced my like need to be outside. And I don't think I really understood it. She used to tell me and Ani all the time, she would like literally lock us outside. If she was watching this, she would beg to differ, but she would lock us outside and she would say, go blow the stink off of you. Like she would tell us that all the time. And we didn't like it when we were younger because we didn't really want to go outside, but we figured it out. We would go play and just go be kids. And she didn't live in a neighborhood that had a lot of kids, and we didn't live in a neighborhood with a lot of kids. So Ani and I really learned how to play, just the two of us outside a lot.
Her neighborhood had no kids.
No kids in it at all. But it had some really cool things to like rocks and hills and things to play on. So that was fun. But also there was a softball player. Her name's Danielle Lowry. She's a commentator now. So if anybody ever watches college softball and you listen to her voice, and I encourage all of you to watch college softball eventually. It's very cool. Danielle Lowry, she played at Washington in 2009 and won a national championship with them in 2009. And then she also played on Canada's Olympic team in 2020 after having 3 children. So she's just an insanely cool woman. And she has a lot of content on social media about like how to take care of your body and how to, she's not like a super thin person, like naturally. And she just is really body positive and teaches young athletes. And I remember looking up to her when I was probably 13 because I wasn't like a thin athlete and I really liked to work out and again, be outside. And like, and she's kind of intense and I liked her intensity on the field. And so she was one of the first people that I saw on TV that I was like, I want to be like her. So, and to still have her in the like sports world is pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I don't know that I've ever heard you talk about her. So we'll have to go on a social media feed. I'll learn more about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who is here tonight. And if you want to drop in who, influenced you in our comments section, I know that Aaron Zodiac said, my grandmother, no doubt. I love that. Thank you so much. And then here comes Carrie with a good joke. I love that, Carrie. Good one. I would say mine. I'm sitting here thinking about mine, and I have like 3 ladies that came to mind, and they're all educators. So, wow, that's really setting a tone for me. It's always my mother, but I'm going to step aside from my mother and my daughters because they all inspire me and influence me every day. But outside of that, my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Eberhardt, I remember her teaching me how to diagram sentences. She kept me in for recess. I was struggling for it. I was not even mad. She just gave me time, care, and attention and wanted me to do well. I think that's why I minored in English. I think that's why I like to write, because she sat with me and said, here's something for you. Let me help you with this. And then my cooperating teacher who had passed away, she was incredibly hard on me as far as like expectations when I was doing my student teaching. And I think she just made me a really great teacher. And I hated her in the moment. It's kind of like that coach that pushes you and drives you, and, made me miss vacations, made me stay late, made me come early, made me do all of these things that I was like, but then I really became well. And then the lady who inspired me to become a principal, who was my former principal, and Phyllis, and she, she also has passed away, but she was really inspiring, and in fact, even so inspiring that she actually sat my husband down and said, let me tell you what this job is going to be like that she's going to do. Like, I want you to be aware of what she's going to be doing and that she can do this. And here's how to balance her work and her life. And she really did. She sat down and had this conversation with us. She was really inspirational to me. So I think as we're having this conversation, I'm seeing why this work-life balance has really was one of my first things that I wanted CLI to really promote and produce, because it's critical to what we do, and for those of you that don't understand or don't know what Creative Living Ideas is, the reason I built this, and I won't take long on this, but we've created all these books. We started with, our first book was a cookbook. And then we went into self-care journals, and then I wrote a memoir with my mom and my brother. And, it's all about the way we live our life creatively, right? We all work. We all have to, we have to eat, we have to entertain, how do we mesh all of this together in our life and, grow as a human and thrive as a human? So yeah, that's kind of why it's called Creative Living Ideas.
Got it. I was about to ask that question. And it's also a parenting book, which, no, I'm not even going to ask that question. I started to ask y'all both, how do you feel being used to be put in a book? But I'm not even going to get into that. My real question is this. My question was about CLI. You told me kind of how you created CLI and what it actually means. For Lexi and Annika, how did you get to be a part of CLI? What made you become a part of Creative Living Ideas?
Well, honestly, it happened because during COVID, my husband and I, we still lived at my parents' house because we couldn't go. It was during shutdown. And so we all lived there, and my sister lived there too. And so we had come up with all these games because we were literally losing our minds. We could not handle being together anymore. And so we came up with all these games, and we had teams. So every week we pulled out of a hat and had 2 teams, and we would compete against each other we had to make a meal, and we had to make, Mom, you're on mute. We had to make a meal and also come up with a
I think she's saying that night won and it didn't.
This was the best night. It was the night my son-in-law and I had. Anyway.
I think that maybe Jeopardy night won, or maybe Clue. Yeah, when Ani and I did Clue night. Yeah. But we had a time limit, and we had to come up with a theme. It was the best time. Well, anyway, then we decided to bring it all together, and made a book out of it. And that's what Easy Entertaining was. Okay, Mom decided to do that.
Hold on. So I decided to make a book out of it in the meantime while I was writing this book. So two books at one time were going. And I was so proud of myself, you guys. Now, this is those of you that are starting a company, this is your first real tip. Get feedback from other people. I make this beautiful cover, not this one. I make a beautiful cover, and I'm so excited about it. And I show Lexi and Annika, and look at Annika's face right now. And they both came in and were like, no.
Yeah. And she made a layout on Microsoft Word. And I was like, are you going to sell that to kindergartners, Mom? That's a good one.
So then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm trying to write this book. And so then the 2 other gals that are with us that Lexi, went to high school with, and honestly, they were all on yearbook together, and they knew how to do layouts, and they came over, and I was telling them about the books, and they said, we want to help you. We want to do this. We want to make it look so. I wish I should have saved an image. That is not what this look turned out to. This layout this was probably the hardest book to create, and it's the very first book.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely should have started with something a little bit simpler, but woo. But yeah, that's how it began.
And Maddie still wants to do more cookbooks. She just loves them. But they're huge projects. They're huge projects right now. So
Annika, you don't look like you want to do another cookbook.
But you know
Well,
what else?
actually, I really liked testing the food. So
That's
maybe.
true, but
Ani's
didn't-
famous in here because Ani Pasta is in here.
everyone should try
Actually
it. It's
made
amazing. It's in my weekly rotation for dinners.
I actually made it before. It's really good.
It's really good.
it
So
is
what
good.
made
We
you get a part? Oh, go ahead, Lexi.
no, we didn't write down any of the food or anything because we didn't know we were gonna make a book out of it. We were just like having a lot of fun, and then Mom was like, "Hey, we have to do this all over again because we're gonna make a book."
Every day was potluck.
Yeah.
Got it. How about you, Annika? Like, what made you decide to be part of Creative Living Idea?
Well, I also lived there.
See a theme. It starts with living there. Well, that doesn't mean you have to be a part of it. But hey, that starts to be the formula. Guy.
Yeah, I think it was something like if you work for CLI, you can test the food or.
Well,
You got to be
no,
first somehow.
it was really fun to one be able to work with my mom and sister, but the girls that my sister had been friends with pretty much my whole life had been in my house pretty much my whole life, and this kind of gave me the opportunity to have a relationship with them on a whole nother level. I wasn't the younger sister anymore. We were colleagues. And so that was really cool for me. I really liked the cookbook was really cool. I really liked the games, the recipes. Honestly, doing that with my family was some of the most fun we've ever had. But the self-care journals have just been really important to us, especially the neurodivergent journal has been really, really important to me. So I think just in the back of my mind, knowing that that was a possibility, that is really what made me want to do it.
So those of you that don't know, so this is Annika's baby. So we pretty much gave her the reins on this entire book. And so the cool thing about it with all of my team is everyone's published in these books. Their names are all in here. Every one of them has a role in this book. Kristen's our graphic designer. She creates the covers. We have meetings. We go through. We talk about what do we want the inside to look like. These were all of Annika's ideas. I mean, we brainstormed lots of things together, but they all came down to her final decision on all of it. She wrote the foreword of it. Kristen had to go through and get approval from her, like of what, so we created systems and organization in the company to be able to produce a work in a short period of time. So remember, we've been in business 4 years. We've written our 9th book in 4 years. We've produced a lot in a short period of time. And so, they went through and did all of this together. This is Annika's baby for sure. And so loving that they have that. We've got so many ideas for so many different things already brewing that we just always are like, oh, we could make this, we could make that. So sometimes we get together and we're like, well, what do you guys want to make up today? And if we don't have a project in the queue. So we sit and think of some of those things. Yeah. But this is awesome.
I like it. It sounds fun. It looks fun. And I like that. Yeah. Respect each other as like project manager. It rotates on who has final decision on certain projects, and y'all respect each other for what y'all do well. And no one wants to do everything. And you have like Lexi does one thing, Annika does something else, Dr. Farron, you do something else. Dr. Farron, your mom and their grandmom does something else. Maddie does something, Kristen does something, and it's all like a collaborative team effort, and work together to make sure these products are done, and they're really, really good products. Like they're real thought out, well designed, professional, and put together, even down to the summit. I did have one more question to ask. I wanted to ask about. I know Lexi, you did the summit last time as a presenter, and your experience with that. And Annika, you were instrumental behind the scenes of working with the summit. And Lexi, you were instrumental with actually putting the parts together, the Zoom events, and getting people to get their stuff done. And they thought you was an AI bot at points in time, you know. But and Dr. Farron, you coming up with the brain trust for the work-life balance summit. Tell me, how is it working in a project together to put together something like a summit together, and tell me the fun parts of it and what you learned about yourself.
I just want to say, I'll kind of start with it. They are my creative team, regardless of what their role in there. We all get together as a creative team and talk through things together. And so I just want to give Lex one. These books would not be published if it was not for Alexis, because she upload. I have no idea how to upload these. I have no clue, no concept. She deals with all the kickbacks, all of that. I mean, putting the ISBN, getting it. I don't do any of that. I don't know how to do it. She does it, and it's awesome. I appreciate it. Maddie does all of the editing of everything, and they all do the layout together and discuss where the layout is going to be. So they do a lot of that work. So the Work-Life Balance Summit, we collaborated together. I shared with them some ideas, told them where I was working on. And then we had some team meetings, and sometimes we just have smaller team meetings. Sometimes we have big team meetings. But that's kind of how it got started, and sharing out of what we're going to do. And, they provide feedback on, certain types of softwares and products that I should use also. And that's really helpful and important, and really kind of helped me go through those pieces. So back to your question, Damien, ladies, your role in these summits.
And Maddie presented at the summit as well.
She did, yes.
Yeah, actually, I think that working with the summits is almost easier than working on books, because the parts are, like the moving parts are a little bit more finite. Like you can't really, there's no gray area. Like it's black or white. Like you have to put the people where they belong, or you don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like in terms of my like back end job, yeah, people thought I was an AI bot because I was like sending out emails like, this is your time slot, presenters, like, everything was the way it needed to be. But like I can't really mess that up. You know what I mean? Like, and if I do mess it up, like it's my fault. When you're making books, like there's a lot more creativity in terms of, well, we could do this, but we also could do this. Like it's almost like sky is the limit. Like in my job with the summits, like it really wasn't that way. It was a little bit more administrative in terms of that. So our collaboration was like, hey, is there any way you could do this? And I, okay, but did you look at this? Like it was a little more technical. So I actually found that to be a little bit easier. And then I loved presenting. I thought it was super fun. Everybody was great. I thought that all the attendees were great. The other presenters were very welcoming. I had a lot of leeway in terms of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to talk about, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Nice. We enjoyed you as well in your presentation. Annika, how about you? You were heavy in the chat, you were like everywhere. So how about you?
My role is very different from the books to the summits. I don't do too much with the books other than the neurodivergent journal. I, kind of give ideas. But other than that, I usually do more of the accounting and things for CLI. But for the summit, I get to be in the chat for the LinkedIn events and during the actual summit. And so that's really fun for me because I get to interact with everyone. and I also can kind of make sure everyone is where they need to be. Um, so my roles for both of them are very different, but I enjoy both of them. Um, but yeah, like Lexi said, the summit one is a lot easier.
And so, Annika, you also attended the first Work-Life Balance Summit. You were my go-to IT. We were in the house. Literally, we were in the house together on computers, had multiple computers going. You had a computer, we had a spare computer, we had my computer. Tell everybody kind of what that experience was, and how, I know we're over time a little bit, but I do want them to hear your thoughts of the event that you went to when you went last fall.
It was so much fun. I I was trying to join everyone's rooms, just to make sure everyone was up and running when they were supposed to be. And I would just get stuck in a room. I would have to have my mom go join a different room because I was like, I am not ready to leave this room. And so we eventually decided that for the next summits, we were going to have to make it longer. Because also, at first, I'll be honest, I kind of was like, this is an all day thing. Okay. But they just were flying by so quickly. I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. This one's over. I wasn't ready. So we definitely took into account how we felt about it and everyone else's feedback for the upcoming summits. But it was so much fun, and I learned a lot. Everyone had so many different things to bring to it. Every room was so different that you're gonna have takeaways no matter what room you go to.
Thank you for sharing that. I knew that we had discussed that already, and it was funny. I was like, hey, you go to this room. I'm going to pop in on this room. And she's like, I'm not ready to leave yet. They're just getting to the part I wanted to hear. Like, go switch with me.
Yeah, I was like, I just asked her a question. I have to wait for her to answer. Like, I'm participating.
I love that because you were like, at first, like, this is going to be all day. And then you got so caught up in it, like you didn't even want to leave. I was a presenter at the first one, so I definitely know what you're talking about. Same thing with you, Lexi. Like you got a chance to present as well. Dr. Farron, you got a chance to run the summit, and this is your third one going around. So I love the whole process of it. I like that. All have so many different things going on outside, and you're able to balance all those things. Like Annika, you have school, you're a branch manager, so you have to lead people, make sure economics is right, managing, deal with people, customer service, that level of balance, and still maintain yourself. You have a neurodivergent book that you put together, so I know it's kind of near dear to your heart for different personal reasons. So I love the diversity in that. You continue to grow as a person. You work on CLI, and even me knowing you in this short period of time, I've seen your growth, and I love how it continues to grow. Lexi, that you work in a software company, you're married, you're balancing your marriage, you're a softball coach. You have like a great level of success with softball because you're like national under your state champs your first year out. So I want to applaud you for that. Balancing the relationship, doing the work-life balance summit, putting this stuff together. You're not a bot. Maybe all the stuff that you're doing, people might think you're a robot. So that probably is part of it. So I appreciate you for doing that and your role and contribution to the summit, and both of y'all for even with the 2350 networking and having that and building that and putting that together. And thank you also, Dr. Farron, for bringing me along with your crazy idea where you send me a message like, what do you think about this? Can we talk? And then we talk. I'm like, yeah, just do it. And I'm a presenter, and then now I'm part of the summit, and we're collaborating on it in 2350 Network, and that you do diverse books. So you also have a book, ovarian cancer, right?
Yes, we do.
So the
Yep.
layers of it, yeah.
So
And
we
that
have
you're always
we have
pushing.
a journal with a cover that is teal for ovarian cancer. So my mom is a 2-time survivor of ovarian cancer. So we felt like this was important to do. So when people purchase this book, we give a donation, a portion of the donation to the St. Louis Ovarian Cancer Organization, and her story is in the front of it, and it is really a cool journal. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. Grab them. You know, we love them. So we have lots of them. Thank you, Jackie. We appreciate it. We really love our collaboration too. It's fun.
And my thing is always let that make sense. Creative living ideas. You have a cookbook that was made out of a global pandemic and potluck and fun things with your family. The games, the fun things with your family. It makes sense. It's creative. You live it like you're really living this idea. You know, all y'all was in the same house, so it makes sense. Like the tie into it. The book that you just showed, the journal, it's connected to your mom. Annika's book is connected to Annika. You know, these things make sense, and it's on brand where it makes sense. Work-life balance. You know, you talked about you being a mom, going to school, and you know, coming in on chips and ice cream day, and you know they have to look like the record scratched. You
Oh,
know, yeah, and then the relationships and dynamics between all of y'all working together in CLI, and then even Lexi with her dad and softball, and you know Annika, you know me and you having meetings. You like, well, I gotta get Annika's dog. Annika's dropping the dog off, and you know that whole dynamic is beautiful, and I love to see that particular dynamic. And is the biggest thing is generation of family together, but y'all still all individuals, and everybody respects each other's individual space and individual niche and expertise. So I want to thank y'all for that, and thank you for actually doing this. So we always end this thing with something called, so we always leave and close out with a quote.
well, I want to thank you, Damien, for having us on here because, you know, I know a lot of people here, living ideas, you know, and so for them to be able to really fully understand what it means, why it was built, you know, and the whole premise is for us all to live our lives creatively as a parent, as a mom, as a daughter ourselves, journaling, our own self-care, you know, all of those pieces. So I thank you for that. From my parenting book, Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, A Parent's Manual. Grab it if you haven't gotten it yet. But maybe we need to do a whole session with these girls on this book. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, because that's why I said earlier. I was like, let me hold off on that
That's a
question.
whole other.
I
That's a
want to
whole
know,
other.
like,
Yeah.
now reading the book later on, what do you think about it? I had like 100 questions, so that's why I was like, let me pause the.
They've been asked that question before, so
Yeah.
Okay. So this is in chapter 1. It's under Parenting is a Lifetime Commitment. And Irma Bombeck is a columnist from the 70s that I loved as a kid, reading her a column in the newspaper. So it is her quote, I see children as kites. You spend a lifetime trying to get them off of the ground. You run with them until you're both breathless. They crash. You add a longer tail. You patch and comfort, adjust and teach. You watch them lifted by the wind and assure them that someday they will fly. Irma Bombeck, author. I've always loved that quote. To me, I feel like that's kind of what parenting is. And my kids will say they've heard this before from me. Something bad happened, a medical thing, something, a relational thing, a school thing. And I always say, you know what, it's my job to get you patched up, you know, dust you off and put you in the right direction again. And we're just going to keep forging forward. So that's my quote.
Nice. Annika, Lexi.
Anna, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay. Mine is before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others.
I like that. It's a good one.
That's really good.
That is good.
Mine is something that I told my players a couple times this week, and I just feel like I need to keep sharing it. And it's just about, well, I'll tell it to you first. In the absence of facts, perception is reality. So just the way that you carry yourself and the way that people may perceive you, even if it's not the truth, make sure that you carry yourself in a confident way, because even if they don't know you, you want them to think. And this is a deep hole for some people, but this is something I keep telling my players. Make them think and fear you a little bit, because even if they don't know you, we want that to be the perception.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So in the absence of facts, perception is reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. And the fact is, I definitely during this conversation can notice that it was light outside and now it's dark.
Now it's dark, I know, and I didn't turn my other lights on. I'm so sorry, I know. And I'm in my living room, and so there's a lot of windows.
No worries at all. Dr. Farron, can you bring up the 2350 network for me real quick? I want to kind of get into mine.
Yeah, and Lexi and Annika are both also in the 2350 network as well, so you'll be seeing them at some events here and there. Let me find out. Here we go. All right.
So mine's is right there. Don't let 10 minutes of your day of a bad day disrupt the other 2350 of your day.
Love that.
Essentially, do not lose sight of 10 minutes or 5 minutes of a bad day that your whole day is messed up out of the 24. So with that said, I thank you all for that. Please connect, reach out to everyone on here. I thank you so much, Lexi, Dr. Farron, Annika, for this. And want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thank you for watching and commenting. We appreciate you. And yeah, have a great week.
And
thanks for having us, Damien.
Oh no, y'all come back anytime. Y'all should come back again. But make sure you buy tickets to the virtual the Work-Life Balance Summit. It's $75 and its sale ends today. And Annika, you want to say goodbye?
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for attending the 2350 Effect. If you are interested in becoming a guest or a sponsor, please contact Damien or Dr. Tanya. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2350 Effect.